Alright, strap in. Today we're doing something super exciting and very dangerous. We are doing single combat against copyright, because I will be watching various animes first episodes, some I have seen, some I haven't, and I'll be ranking them from 1 to 10 based on how good the episode was standalone and whether it would make me want to continue watching the anime. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug, so I'll be doing my best to remain unbiased while I watch these, which honestly should not be too hard because I am a psychopath with no emotions. And if you haven't seen some of these episodes, or you want to play along and rewatch them, this is your chance. We will not be watching the full episodes because I want my YouTube money off this video, so I will be cutting it up, maybe removing some sound, adding some other sound that I find definitely appropriate as we stop and talk about each episode. And without further ado, let's start with my first anime ever, Naruto. I'm excited, man. I haven't seen some of these episodes in ages. And this one is a classic. The Fox, man. And we've got a monologue from someone who's definitely too old to be president. He's probably the worst president of all time. Art really does mimic life. Back when Naruto was about ninjas, am I right? Just the Nine Tails doing battle against the giant toad. Gotta say though, this entrance is pretty hard. Makes you want to know more, I'd say. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're rocking with it, dog. Let's go. Naruto's so annoying at the start. There's our boy, the man who let Naruto starve, baby. Let's go. I gotta say though, this scene, the music, Naruto fucking around, the vibes of the early 2000s, late 90s, it's irreplaceable. It's kind of crazy when you think about it though. The first episode of Naruto really only has 2 main characters, or 3. Everyone else is introduced later. Speaking of, here they are. I mean, establishing a power system of sorts this early on is pretty cool. Also, Naruto was tiny, dude, back in the day. And the character designs of part 1 were super interesting. They got a little less detailed than Shippuden, which is a little bit unfortunate, but so it goes. Classic, classic. I never really understood this. I think I knew this at some point, but I'm too lazy to Google it. Why do people bleed out of their noses in anime when they're, like, blue-balled? Also, the first episode is way more childish than I remember. It's like it was almost made for children. Honestly, the vibe of the village in the first episode is better than I remember. I don't remember them showing it that much, but I mean, people are like out drinking and partying. That's kind of fun. Good old exposition. Although this is a classic scene. I'm liking the pacing of the first episode. A lot of things are happening in quick succession, but at least they're establishing what is going on in the story right off rip. Foreshadowing AF, man. You can say that again. Dude, the people in the village, low-key, are the biggest assholes ever. They have always been so mean. Like, in all the flashbacks, I can never imagine anyone, even in America, of all places, being as mean to a little kid as the villagers are to Naruto. This guy's aura farming right now. You already know. And he is not that guy. I actually think they do a pretty good job here as well. There's not a chance you know that Mizuki is evil, unless you've seen it before, or know about it. So that twist is kind of cool. I mean, episode 1 as a standalone has its own conflict, it has its own arc, and then falling action. I think it's working pretty well so far. What a rat-faced snake, man. Shanks and Mizuki. Together forever in love. Dude, who are these loser-ass ninja? Who is this guy with the glasses and the helmet? He's not cut out to be a ninja, I'm gonna tell you that right now. So we're only about halfway through the episode, which means that the rest of the episode is going to be the scuffle in the forest. So I'm interested in seeing how the pacing works out here. Dude, Naruto's very cute though. I mean, the thing is, he's so annoying at the start. He's cute only retroactively after you see him accomplish everything that he's set out to accomplish. Also, this is pretty hard, I'm not gonna lie. This is like Iruka's best moment in the entire series, where he takes some kunai. Also, the weaponry in Naruto at the start is enticing for children and adults alike, I would say. I've always thought that the huge shuriken were pretty cool. Oh, I know, this is the most badass thing Iruka does. Definitely a cool moment. Definitely a cool moment, and it's emotional for Naruto, for Iruka. We had the flashback right before. I think they're doing a pretty good job. It's not a 10 out of 10. Wow, so the third Hokage is a crystal ball. That's certainly going to be useful later in the show when he uses it very often to prophesize and see visions. Certainly. Classic moment as well. I think all of this, again, is really cool the way they set up the power system. Because they show you the jutsu in the first episode and the way that they can be used. And just innately, cloning and transformation have so many applications that you know you're in for a wild ride later on. And then Naruto introduces us to the original gangbang. And the music goes so hard. It's so good, dude. I can't say much more than that, man. Me watching as a child is Iruka watching Naruto right here. I said I wasn't gonna be nostalgia blinded, but I think this is pretty good. And then this closing monologue as well. The road gets more difficult now that you're a ninja. Perfectly ends the episode. You want to see what happens next. And that is Naruto episode 1. Yeah. Yo, it's gonna get copywritten. Alright, what do we think of Naruto overall? First of all, the pacing surprised me. It was much better than I remember. There were definitely slow parts, and in typical late 90s, early 2000s anime fashion, there were some scenes that kind of dragged on for a while because that's how the anime style was back then. That being said, a lot happened very quickly. Not at like a breakneck speed where you can't keep up, but it did happen fast enough to get us caught up to the world of Naruto and Naruto's motivations himself in the first episode, which I definitely give a lot of points to. The character design was interesting, the music was interesting. It was nice that the first episode doesn't actually have to do much with the story, but sets up Naruto as a character himself so that you want to keep watching. I actually very much like this. I'm leaning giving this an immediate 8. And we can change the ratings later down the line as we watch more shows. And of course, Naruto has its own issues later down the line. But in regard to the first episode, I wouldn't say it's perfect. There are some things that would change. You kind of don't know too much about the world or what kind of powers they're actually going to end up having. We have the third Hokage, who is for some reason a clairvoyant. We have the clone jutsu. We have a nine-tailed demon fox. It's kind of all over the place, but that's okay. That makes you more willing to know what's going on. So I think an 8's pretty good. Next up, we're watching something with a cult following. Something that I read the manga of and only watched a little bit of the anime of. AOT. I'm very excited for this one. I have very high hopes. First of all, the animation is stellar, and it's immediately better than Naruto's. But I can't dock Naruto for that. Nah, man, I gotta say. This is an opening almost like none other. It is near perfect. The first thing you see is this ugly-ass motherfucker attacking a huge village with a wall surrounded by it. You have questions. It's cool. It's aura. What's gonna happen next? Damn, imagine if I added my own music over this. The animation is something that obviously can't be discredited, and the way they use their weaponry is super fun always. Also, Titans are so ugly. They're uglier in the manga. I wish that the anime adapted that a little better. But again, you love seeing them die because they're just ugly motherfuckers. Do you not know that I'm Eren Yeager? Yeah, they were cooking here too. Wow, I mean, I really can't say too much because I have seen /read AOT, but this is definitely one of the works of fiction of all time. At least before the end. I have my own issues with the end. I think that for a large portion of it, it is like peak. And then some things are ruined for me. That kind of ruins the rest of it, but not too much. This is giving me actually similar vibes to the Naruto first episode, where they're establishing what the characters are like, what the village is like, and the setting that they live in. I actually think they do it in a pretty similar way. AOT does it a little bit better because they actually give shots of the village outside of just the ramen shop. There's a lot of dialogue right before this scene, which is great show don't tell. But there's more dialogue than I remember, and not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but the pacing of the episode, I don't think, is as brisk as Naruto's. Dude, why are you snitching? What the fuck? I don't remember this, Mikasa. I am disappointed in her. They do a pretty good job of eliciting intrigue within the viewer immediately, which is great because AOT is ultimately a show about intrigue. And then this is classic, of course. The end of the episode is where the beginning of the episode was, where all our intrigue finally comes into fruition. We know that Titans exist, but we don't know exactly what they can do. The music in AOT also goes hard. I mean, like the choir, the vocals, it makes it seem so holy and otherworldly, which is exactly what they were going for. Yeah, right, buddy. You're an anime protagonist. You need, unfortunately, you do need some reason to keep fighting. Alright. I'm no expert of media literacy, but if you had to ask me, gun to my head, will the mother survive? I would have to say no. Damn, was that a Roman salute she just did? Oh my god, she did it again. Oh, brutal. I don't even remember this, actually. The end of the episode is amazing. The beginning of the episode is amazing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And the music goes so hard. Wow, I'm getting chills again. Maybe I should rewatch this. Alright, is it better than Naruto? Is it better than an 8? And hot take. I would say in some ways yes, in some ways no. First of all, I'm going to speak from the perspective of not knowing exactly what happens in the series, but there's a lot of intrigue in this episode, and as an audience member, as a viewer, you want to obviously know what's going to happen, and I think that's kind of an issue that I had with AOT ultimately, is that the realizations and revelations aren't super satisfying. There's of course an argument to be made that the slow middle needs to happen in order to juxtapose what happens at the end of the episode, but I feel like they could have done a little more. Although maybe I'm speaking out of my ass, and I think part of the reason that this video is fun to do is because we watched the episode semi together, and then without thinking about it too much, we get our initial thoughts. That being said, the animation is stellar. I think that the start of AOT is probably its strongest point, maybe a little bit closer to the middle, but the first half of its strongest point. I think I don't want to give it a 10, but I will give it a 9. Does that change my Naruto ranking? Honestly, no. Especially when you account for the fact that Naruto came much earlier than this. But next, let's move on to something I haven't seen. Rent a Girlfriend. Okay, I've talked about this in videos before, that I've never seen this, and that a lot of my friends really like it. It better be goddamn good. The bro is 20 years old, college student living in Tokyo. And he has a girlfriend. Where this could go, only God can tell. Man, the pacing is fucking godly already. I'm hooked. Okay, I understand. So, in some ways it's relatable content to anime watch. Actually, no, they don't have girlfriends ever. Never mind. Wow. This is bringing real psychiatric help to a lot of you, I'm sure. I gotta say, though, this is not a bad thing, as it would be, I think, in something like Naruto. They are moving at breakneck speed. And for a show like this, I think that needs to happen so that you are not actually stuck on what is transpiring. The main issue I'm finding right now is that the main character is unlikable to me. I'm sure he gets better. How that happens, you have to keep watching the show, I guess. Oh no, she's hot! Wait, that's what I said. That's what Squidward said too. Okay, I will say I am intrigued because I don't know where the show will go. Because clearly the dude is having some reservations about doing this. And it's moving still fast. Do they get together? There's no way. This girl's a fucking pro. Okay. My suggestion to you is don't rent a girlfriend. Don't even interact with women. Not for yourself, but for the women. They went to the aquarium for the second time? This is their second date, they did the same thing? Alright, so she studied up for the second date, and we know that he planned the first one. Does that mean he planned the second one, and he said, let's do exactly the same thing? No fucking wonder this dude needs to rent a girlfriend. Yeah, man. This is just like relatable content. I can see why people like this. I can see why... I like Slice of Life, for the record. I am a Slice of Life fan. Oh no, she's hot! I can see the comedy aspects of this show being interesting. Unfortunately, in Slice of Life, a lot of it is set up, and you're not living in a world that's too unlike your own. So you need to get acquainted with all the characters before it really gets interesting. Okay, this is good. We've got our first conflict, a little over halfway into the episode. It's nice that we don't exactly know how it's going to be resolved, so you want to keep watching. I mean, it makes sense. Is this going to turn into the cringiest scene of all time? It very well might. Uh-oh. Oh no, we're on that path right now. I heard the sound effect. Hey, that's not that bad unless they show it right now. Okay, I'll give them some credit where credit is due. It was not ultimately cringy. Oh. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit invested, and by a little bit I mean a lot of bit invested in this scene. This got way better than it was at the start. Alright, it's still really cringe though. I like the subtle, not so subtle boob shots whenever they can happen. Oh man. Kazuya's not gonna like that. He wants you so bad. Yeah, bro. An unfortunate reality. Okay. I'm assuming this is the end of the episode. Is that right? We love foreshadowing, man, and no one does it as well as One Piece. And One Piece probably isn't going to be in this video because if we do a part 2, I have to keep some good stuff for you guys. Work smarter, not harder. Oh, nice. I was wondering why we didn't get a naked shot yet. Oh, nice. I was wondering why we didn't get a towel shot yet. What's up with bro's tooth? How many times do you jerk it? Most normal thing to ask the homies after you kiss them. Hardcore. I'm good at this. I'm anime. Haha. Virgin's gonna virgin. Is that what I just saw? Oh, is this her? I mean, it must be. I thought that the end of the episode already happened, and here I am watching more. This was probably the most compelling scene in the entire show that makes you want to keep watching it. What the banger? Hold up, dude. Am I giving him more points for this? Let's go. I'm fucking with it. Alright, so that was Rent a Girlfriend episode 1. Like I said, a lot of highs, some lows for me. The ending was the best part. The hospital scene was pretty compelling. It made my heart flutter a little bit, if I'm being honest. In the middle, or a lot of the scenes in the middle, it seems like they could have removed them. Honestly, this episode felt like a lot of shorter episodes put together, if you know what I'm saying. It reminded me a little bit of Kaguya-sama Love is War, which I've watched because I'm a Chadley Giga Chad. The premise is obviously different, and I don't like the main character in Rent a Girlfriend as much. The female one I do like more, even though she's pretty stereotypically anime in these types of shows. But you know, maybe if it keeps going, it gets better, even though I kind of doubt it. I'm gonna give it like a 5. I think it's a pretty average first episode. I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but I woke up with this bruise. I feel like it makes me look cooler. Anyway, next up we're watching Haikyuu. Now, I'm gonna tell you right off rip, I love Haikyuu. It's my favorite sports anime, and I think they do a great job of making you really into volleyball as someone who literally does not give a shit about volleyball before. But now I have reasons to. I actually don't remember Hinata being in uniform to start the episode. Oh man, the Haikyuu opening, the initial opening. I wish I could play it for you guys. Unfortunately, I hope you're liking this royalty-free music that we're listening together. They make volleyball look so damn dynamic in this show, man. Sports anime has a way of doing this, but I really do think Haikyuu is the pinnacle of sports anime. It's much better than Kuroko and Blue Lock. Personal opinion. I think they do a better job of making Hinata likable later on when he's a little older. He's not doing it too much for me right now. And I don't think he's even my favorite character, but I do like him. Anime height differences, man. In reality, these people are like a couple inches apart. But when they're drawn next to one another, you already know. It's like 50 fucking feet difference. And here's our rival. Not only do they make volleyball more dynamic, they do a great job making volleyball much more important than it actually is, which is critical for making us understand how the people who love volleyball feel in this. So we root for them. I mean, at this point, if you've seen the opening, you already know that they're going to end up playing together. Classic light and dark. Tale as old as time. You and I. You want to be light or you want to be dark? I'll be dark. I've got like a little scar thing here. I'm not the biggest fan of this interaction. Again, having known what happens later, we have no reason to care about nationals to this level right now. We haven't even seen volleyball being played. This is a fun little shot. And I mean, you end up wanting to root for him, I guess, even in this episode. The music in Haikyuu is also really good. I'm coming to find that anime music is kind of goated. It's something that I didn't know. Or I did, I just never voiced it. Actually, I voiced it too. Man, fuck that though. I gotta say, if I was one of these characters, I'd be Kageyama 1,000,000,000%. I'm not trying to lose, man. If we made it this far, you already know I'm going all the way. Fuck it, don't mind. Alright, this is classic. Honestly, I feel like the entire episode is kind of just leading up to this moment at this point. But damn, is it a moment. It gets a lot of people hooked. Yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool. I give him props where props is due. But I have my thoughts. Then we've got the high schoolers coming to middle school volleyball tournaments just to check out the opposition, you know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, not girls. And then, of course, they start high school. And the rivals are going to play against one another. Some people say that this is one of the best first episodes of anime of all time. And I have to say, I disagree. And yeah, the episode ends there. And yeah, while I disagree that it's not the best, I think it's very good. Ultimately, I think it gets better if you know what happens later in the series. A lot of it, actually, now rewatching it, is slow, even though I love Haikyuu. I think what I'm finding, though, is that the reason it feels slow to me is that we're not given a reason to care about Hinata as the main character, or volleyball tournaments outside of Hinata is the main character and he cares. Later in the series, of course, we're given a reason to care about all the characters and these volleyball tournaments, but here, we're just watching middle school volleyball for 25 minutes. And don't get me wrong, I think the episode is stellar. And I've probably been giving lower ratings than you think. I mean, I gave Naruto an 8 and AOT a 9 when you guys might be giving it a 10. I'm a harsh critic. I'm not trying to give anything a 10. And I think that a lot of the scenes here were good, the dialogue was good, the animation was stellar, some moments were really hype, but some parts felt flat compared to the highs. What did I give Rent a Girlfriend? 5? I would give this maybe like a 7. And the last anime we're going to watch today, I'm very excited for. If we did not cover something that you want me to cover, drop it in the comments below for a part 2. It's going to be Frieren. I've never seen this, and it's been recommended to me so many times. Okay. Beyond Journey's End, Frieren. She's an elf. Not my favorite. She is a mage. I think. Loki, my favorite. Damn, this looks really pretty, actually. I mean, I guess it makes sense. It came out, what, late 2023? Damn, are they in the same world as AOT? I was not expecting... Who the fuck is bearded, bro? It's immediately feeling very D&D, which I really appreciate, especially in a fantasy setting like this. It's honestly kind of making me want to adventure. Bro, this guy's based. Who is this man? Oh, he's a priest. You know, this is actually going to be something that's very interesting to explore because I know nothing about Frieren. So beyond Journey's End, bro just said that she's going to live forever. If she's immortal, who fucking knows? Thank you for defeating the Demon King. Honestly, it sounds like they have kind of won. They won the game. They beat the game. They beat the final boss. And I also like when series do this, where you're probably OP from the beginning. Holy, I think I found my new favorite character. What? I get always kind of jealous of pretty boys in anime, man. I just want to know what people would draw me if I was a protagonist. With like a little scar thing. That would be kind of cool. Maybe not, actually. It's interesting, they're giving a lot of character exposition right off rip, which it makes me believe this is like in the past or something. Okay, so this is when Frieren's journey begins. I honestly think that this is already a lot of intrigue, because having beaten the final boss, we don't know where the main adventuring party is going to go. Shadi's about to forget about them, isn't she? Also, dude, mages are so fucking OP. When people were creating classes, they needed to realize that mages were always going to be the strongest. Spells can do fucking anything. What is a barbarian with like 2 ales going to do, man? Like, what is this? Oh, she's dead, never mind. Okay, so 50 years has passed. I wonder if a lot of the story within Frieren is going to be her remembering the story that we didn't get to see. That would be really interesting. There is not a fucking chance I grow up to look like that. I do not want to be Himmel anymore. You are shitting my ass. Why did he grow so short? My entire personality is being tall. Although at the age of 29, I do get cut in half. Bro, I cannot get over how small he is. He looks like he's a little babushka, male version. I want to keep him like on my bed forever. This seems like the kind of show that's going to tug in your heartstrings in a certain way. And I feel like this show might not be for everybody, but maybe for people going through specific things in specific periods of their lives. And I always appreciate a story like that. Dude, that's crazy how they're gonna erect a statue of me one day as well. Outside of YouTube headquarters. Unless. Motherfucker, what? Himmel turned into that and these guys look exactly the same. This is not fair. Man, art really does mimic life, man. I fucking hate genetics. This dude's a drunkard! Man should look decrepit and old. He should look like that fish from SpongeBob. You know exactly who I'm talking about. Okay, this is exactly what I'm saying. This is why mages are OP. She didn't do jack shit and this thing disintegrated. This is sweet, man. This is giving me vibes of Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. Many years into the future, adventuring, you know, D&D. Even kind of the sound font, in a way, is reminding me of Legend of Zelda, and I'm really enjoying that. Damn, bro. He was my boy. I immediately was drawn to him, and he died in the very first episode. This is why I never get attached anymore. Ghosting people is so OP. Okay. That was certainly interesting. Or it's not over. Why did they bait me? Where are the credits? Oh, that's the tree I saw earlier. Stupid ass elf. Okay, and that's where the series starts. Alright, I got you. Totally understandable. Fern is about to pop off, I can already tell. She's about to be the most talented mage the world has ever seen. What'd I say? Oh. That's not what I was expecting. I knew that was gonna happen. I'm actually pretty good at scoping out talent. Okay. That was interesting. Again, I have thoughts. So right off rip, I felt like the first half of the episode was much better than the second. It felt like its own standalone OVA almost, and personally I would have given that like an 8 or a 9. The second half lost me a little bit, but it wasn't bad. I'm still pretty unsure of the direction the show is going to take, which is not bad because that's cliffhangery and makes you want to keep watching. But the first part of the show induced some sense of like nostalgia and longing in me that the second half of the show did not evoke emotion-wise. And I'm trying to think about this as someone who's not necessarily into the D&D style or Legend of Zelda style of adventure, but the emotions, in my opinion, in the first half and the character interactions were much more interesting than later on in the series, especially because we didn't really get to see, obviously, Frieren's interactions with them when they were younger. That being said, like I said earlier, I think that the episode actually had a lot of intrigue and really makes you want to keep watching to know, A, about Frieren's life and what her adventures, I guess, with the party were and what she's going to do next. So I'm leaning 7 or 8 right now. I think just because it dipped emotionally halfway, for me, I'm going to give the first episode a 7 because it seems like a show that's all about evoking emotions. And I think giving it a 7, something similar to Haikyuu, which I love, by the way, is fair. And there you go, we watched the first episode of 5 very different anime. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. And if you want to see me do this again, drop your suggestions in the comments below. If it was boring, let me know that as well. We can also do this not just for anime, but other shows. We can do this for movies. We can do this for like the first 15 minutes of games. Let me know, whatever you want to see. And let me know anything else you want to see in the comments down below. Any games to cover, series to cover, characters to cover, real world things to do. Everything I do for you. Go check out other videos on the channel. We have a whole library of variety content. You already know the spiel. We're bringing back the old YouTube. I'm gonna get a statue erected for me in front of YouTube headquarters. But until next time, I love you, and goodbye.